Hello and welcome to Talking WoW, the podcast where we talk about World of Warcraft, believe it or not. My name is Tom, and today we're going to be talking about the 2024 roadmap for World of Warcraft. And to do that, I'm joined by my co-host, Marty. Hey, Marty.
Hello, I am here today as well, and I'm so looking forward to talk about the World of Warcraft 2024 roadmap. How you doing?
I wish we got $1 for every time we said World of Warcraft, because we'd be very, very rich and we wouldn't have to keep making episodes. But we would, because we like doing it. Yes, the roadmap for 2024 for World of Warcraft is here, Marty. And it's looking pretty promising. And it's kicking off with, already, the Seeds of Renewal. Seeds of Renewal are here, and Dragon Fighting Worldwide, Marty. Finally.
Finally, it's so freaking good, and also my Evoker can now fly in their flying form as a dynamic bound. It's amazing. I love it.
Some might say it should have been like that from the start, but
someone did say that.
Somebody did say that. Probably on this show. I don't know. But let's not look to the past, Marty. Let's look to the future. Let's look to the future. And the next big thing, I suppose, we have in this roadmap, and probably the thing that caught your eye first, maybe, was the fact that there is a patch coming up called 10.2.6. And there's no indication of what this patch might be. But there's only a skull and crossbones on the roadmap. There's no text. There's no information there. It's just a skull and crossbones, Marty. What does this mean?
Pirates. There is pirates. They lied to us. They said there were no pirates.
Pirates, that's it then. Just as simple as that. I mean, it does look like a pirate flag. I mean, if you looked at that, and you even pulled someone off the street, Marty, that doesn't even know what this game is, and you'd say, what's that? What's that all about? They'd say pirates, or that's something I see on the back of my bleach bottle, wouldn't they?
Yeah, it's definitely bleach. That's what it is. It's nothing else. It's just like
we're cleaning out Azeroth because
exactly.
It's been a while.
Exactly. No, I think my theory, and I don't remember who I talked to about it, but my theory is that we need to discover this new island for the next expansion, because it all starts on an island and then it does some caves and stuff like that. But we need to discover that island somewhere, somehow, and somewhere. So my thoughts were that, hey, maybe this is like a little bit of an introduction to how we actually find, this new place. And piracy on the high seas could be something that might, play into that a little bit or something like that. Who knows? But that is my take on it. I think that is sort of like a pre thing to the War Within.
So it's not the take that some people have been having, that it means a notable character death.
That is some people's takes. I don't know. It could be as well. Who knows? But that's not the theory.
Do you think they would do that, though? Do you think they would sort of give that away? And do you think I don't think there would be like bones on that. I think it would just be a skull.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I think like I'm leaning towards more pirates. Sometimes I don't think like everything has to have a super hidden message. I think it is just something to do with being on the seas and probably pirates. Because if this was a notable character death, why would you advertise that? Like,
yeah,
imagine like reading the back of a George R.R. Martin book, or imagine like George R.R. Martin's roadmap. It would just be skulls everywhere. It'd be like, oh, we're going to lose 10 characters this book. And I just think you take away from something if you sort of advertise the fact that a character might be dying. Or what do you think? Like, because I don't like spoilers like that, but does it make you excited? If it was, let's just say it is. Let's just say that's it.
If it's meaningful, then sure. But it's a small patch in between, expansions pretty much, because we already had the ending with 10.2.5 or the epilogues and stuff like that. And this is just in between. So if this was just like a big character death, I don't think that would make sense in between two expansions. I mean, Blizzard are trying out new things. It could be possible. It could be them trying, that out perhaps, but I don't really see it. I don't really see it, I have to admit. So I think I'm leaning more towards it has something to do with piracy or something along those lines. That's my take.
Okay, so do you think then perhaps this leads into season 4 and maybe that creates a zone or an area that maybe we spend some time in then before we then go into the War Within deeper? Or do you think
I mean, if we look back at it, right, then I always forget the name of it, but the island, the Evoker Island that got unlocked was the same thing, where it was like, a zone to do things in before we move into the next season. So it's sort of like a catch-up patch. And I think this could be a catch-up patch going into season 4 as well.
I love some catch-up. I love some catch-up, Marty. You know that.
Catch-up. I think it could be that where you can get some gear, you can get ready for season 4. They might even throw in some time walking, so you can level up all your characters, with increased XP boost or increased XP, whatever. So that's what I think it's going to be. If it's a full zone, I don't know actually. I mean, it would be cool if it was. I would love if they added at this point of the expansion added hey, here's a new zone to go have fun in. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see what it actually is.
Am I alone here actually just looking at season 4 and looking at everything else on the roadmap?
Mm-hmm.
Like, I feel like almost season 4 feels like the weakest part of this roadmap.
I mean, season 4 is just, there's no new story content. So what is season 4? Well, season 4 is just probably like the last season of Shadowlands, with all the raids in some kind of rotation, and maybe with affixes. I don't know I think they might be trying something else, because I don't think it was received super well, the idea. I think people thought it was like there was some good thoughts, good ideas there, but that maybe that wasn't it. And then Mythic Plus, obviously, another Mythic Plus season. The interesting thing will be to see what dungeons will be in the Mythic Plus season, and we are speculating that it could potentially be all the Dragonflight dungeons that they're bringing back, and because they've never all been in the rotation at the same time, so maybe that could be it.
Could be. Moving on from season 4 then, which will be coming out in the spring, we'll also be getting spoiled with another patch there, which is called Dark Heart, which will be the 10.2.7, which, as podcasters, we love when there's lots of numbers to say for patch numbers. And I think the highlight of that one, Marty, and I thought of you when I saw it, is time running Pandemonium.
Yeah.
Now, I actually started thinking about the challenge modes in Mists of Pandaria, which I know you love. Like, that was like the best time of your life in World of Warcraft, I'm assuming, because you always look fondly back on challenge modes in Mist. And I don't know, it got me thinking of like, is that something that could come back, or have I just totally misread this?
I don't think this is challenge mode, because challenge mode evolved into Mythic Plus. So I actually don't know what this could be. Time running Pandemonium. I mean, I don't know. I have really no clue what it could be. But it's exciting.
Something like we're going back to do something. It's time running, so that would indicate time travel.
Maybe.
So it's something that occurs. It's like time walking. If time walking is doing old dungeons, what is it when you're going a bit faster? When you're running? And that would indicate a time trial. That's a time trial.
Yeah. I mean, you could be right. You could be right that it could be some, but I just don't know why you wouldn't call it something with Mythic Plus then, if it's a time travel, even though it is older content. So
have we had Mythic Plus Mists of Pandaria dungeons?
Yes, there have been some in actually the first season. I believe had some of them in the pool. So there has been some older dungeons here and there popping up randomly.
But yeah, I don't know. It feels like it's probably something to do with Mists of Pandaria dungeons, and maybe a unique spin on those in maybe a bit more of a challenging way, that the way that time walking is a walkover, isn't it? It's just usually just blitzing through those. Maybe it's adding a bit of challenge to these.
Maybe it is. I don't know. I mean, I do think that also if you look at the name itself, Dark Heart, has a little bit of a callback as well to Mist of Pandaria. But then you could also turn it around and be like, it could also be looking a bit forward because the war within, and down on underground we have the Azeroth soul itself, and a dark heart down there. It could also maybe have a tie into Salatath, which could probably have something to do with dark heart because void and all. So I don't know. It's exciting.
It is, and something else that's very exciting, Marty. And I know we're sort of just going through the timeline here ourselves. We're doing a bit of time running as we talk about this. But the summer of 2024 looks incredible because we'll be getting the War Within pre-patch, which, and I'm just going to go straight to it, Warbands is coming to us before the main expansion hits, which I think we sort of talked about. I don't know if we talked about it on the show or we talked about sort of off air. It's hard to distinguish those two time frames, but we definitely said something like Warbands is going to come before the expansion actually launches, and I think that's going to be huge. That's going to be such a draw in, I think. And out of everyone that I've spoke to about the expansions, like Warbands is the word, right? Warbands is the thing that we're so excited for.
Summer of 2024, when we start, farming old dungeons like mad, because now you can actually unlock everything when you get the gear and such. Yes, I'm looking forward to that. So I've already canceled my summer vacation. I'm not going anywhere besides Azeroth. That's where I'm going.
I was going to say, pull the curtains, summer's canceled outside, and we're going to be just playing all the characters. And to me, it feels like it will be... Remember when the achievement system came in and suddenly there was all this reason to go do like exploration and old dungeons? I feel like it's going to have that sort of impact where people are going to be like jumping on all their characters and, seeing how that works, and probably end up playing Warcraft way more than normal because suddenly they just don't have that guilty feeling about which character that they're going to be playing. And I'm so excited for it.
I don't have to level any more priests because I can go in those dungeons with any character by then, so...
You'll still do it, though, because you're weird. But
thank you. I'll wear that as a badge of honor.
After the pre-patch, obviously, the War Within expansion comes out. We've talked about that a little bit already on this show. But is there something, like, there, Marty, that you're like, that's, it's just... We already know what's coming in the expansion, and outside of Warbands, is there something there that you're like, yes, I just can't wait to get my teeth into that? I'm going to say it's Delves for me, because again, I think that's going to complement the Warband system really well, where it's something where you can take your own character in there and make some progress.
Yeah, I think for me, what I'm looking forward to is just pretty much everything. And my reasoning for that is that, that new expansion is always like such a special feeling when you get into something new and you get to jump into it with your guildies and friends and stuff like that. And 2023 has been like a very good year when it comes to that aspect, where I have, expanded on people that I know in game. We've joined, communities, and I've got to know a lot of new people that I'm actually very excited to play together with diving into this new expansion. So I think I can check everything off that list of things that I'm looking forward to. Well, maybe not so much the new PvP season, but everything else.
Hey, you never know. We're getting a new battleground, aren't we? So maybe with all your characters now, you'll be like, hey, actually, you know what? I'm going to get back into that PvP as well.
maybe we'll see. But yeah.
So from summer then into autumn, and I can't believe we're almost like talking about a year ending as one begins, but 11.0.5 will be coming along with obviously more story and content and system updates. Nothing really fleshed out there yet to be expected, but I guess the big thing from this, Marty, is the 20th anniversary of World of Warcraft, and there'll be an event alongside that as well. Do you want to speculate what that might be for such a momentous occasion?
What could it be? Because I'm sort of like thinking it has to do something with, all the vanilla zones or dungeons and stuff like that. But I'm also sort of like, yeah, we also have classics. So how would that actually look like without, being sort of some of the same things? But it would be cool to maybe, what have we seen before? Let's see. We've had molten core, scaled up to a current level in one expansion. So maybe something along those lines where they take something, good old evergreen content from vanilla and scaling it up. That could be cool.
I'd love to see that. I'd love to see a boss rush. So maybe you just take the end boss of every raid and you just have them in a gauntlet. I'd just love to see something like that. I think that would be fun. Would be awesome.
Yeah.
I don't know. I obviously don't know what they're going to do in game. I wonder if they're going to do something similar with the 10th anniversary where they sent people who hadn't lapsed their subscription out a statue. And, there's probably still very few people out there that have been subscribed for 20 years, no lapses. I know, unbelievably, you're not one of those people, Marty, but I mean, what could you send someone that's been subscribed for 20 years without a break? I think they're going to get an actual dragon just delivered to their house. It's just like, here you go.
I'll take one.
Just ride on this thing. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't even know. I mean, there could be still people who are still subscribed. I don't know. I mean, I must be so close. That's what annoys me a little bit when they did the other thing, because I must be so close because I have taken so little breaks. So,
and to think that was 10 years ago. Remember the whole thing with the orc statues? Mm-hmm. That's 10 years ago, and here we are 10 years on.
I'm getting old.
20 years of World of Warcraft to cap the end of this roadmap, which I think overall, Marty, are you feeling excited when you look at this?
I am, and because to be honest, all this, it really seems like they've gotten the cadence down by now, and it was so nice to, first get this as an early Christmas present, and then we got into the new year, and then they were like, all right, this first patch is coming out in 2 weeks, and I'm just like, oh my god, this year's not even started yet, and so yeah, no, I'm very happy to see that it seems like we're going to get a lot of regular content for the rest of the year.
Yeah, and I think that was, just to finish off here, when the Dragonflight roadmap came out, people were saying, well, can they live up to this? Can they stick with this? And they did. And they hit all their targets. And I think, all the players are generally just like, the amount of content that's coming out and the rate that it's coming out, it's really good. And I think the positive thing here is, in the past, between expansions has always been this real barren drought, and people fall off because there's just nothing really happening. But when you look at this, actually, you're like, there's still so much more to come before we get to War Within. Like, that's really exciting. And the fact that there's still a lot of story to be told between the expansion, I think that's very important that they get that right, because it's just been such an issue in the past where it's just so easy to fall off because nothing really feels like it matters anymore. Nothing really feels interesting until the expansion starts again. But keeping that excitement during that.
Absolutely.
And boy, it just keeps the fire burning, doesn't it?
It does. And I'm also just looking forward to getting into a trilogy by Metzen, which is what will start this year. I looked back and watched some of the old cinematics from Legion and just were reminded, how all the cinematics and all the in-game cinematics and the storylines and how everything just fits so well together, and just told, a great story. And I hope that that's what we're looking forward to as well with this new trilogy with Metzen at the helm.
And that is what we thought about the 2024 roadmap for World of Warcraft. But what about you out there? You can let us know in the places that you can do that. Leave us a comment, leave us a message somewhere, and we would love to hear from you. But yes, it's a very, very exciting year ahead for us as World of Warcraft players. Buckle down, everyone. It's about to get interesting. I've been Tom. That's been Marty. And we've been talking WoW.
Thanks for tuning in, champion. Did you enjoy this episode of Talking WoW? If so, why not drop a review on your podcast catcher of choice, or leave us a comment. You can find Talking WoW on Twitter or YouTube over at Talking WoW. Hope to see you again soon.